Hello everyone. We will be starting today's session shortly. So while we wait others to join in, could you please confirm if I'm audible? You can type a yes in the chat box. Uh, yeah. Thanks, Gayatri, for confirming. Just couple more minutes and we'll start today's session. Thank you everyone for confirming. Just couple more minutes. Good evening and welcome to today's inspiring and future focused webinar, which is empowering tomorrow's leaders with AI, generative AI, and agentic AI. So, we are thrilled to have you all with us as we explore one of the most transformative topics, which is shaping leadership, innovation, and the workforce of the future. Yeah. In this session, we will delve into how AI, especially generative AI and agentic AI, it is not just a tool but a catalyst for a new generation of leadership. So, we will also examine how these technologies are enabling emerging leaders to think more creatively, act more decisively, and lead more effectively in dynamic, tech driven environments. And to guide us through this fascinating topic, we have with us today our esteemed speaker, Shyam Venkatesh. Shyam serves as the Director of Architecture in the fintech industry and brings over 20 plus years of experience. As a seasoned technology leader, solution architect, and a data scientist, he offers deep expertise on the evolving role of AI, opportunities.
Yep. Okay. All right. So let me start sharing my screen. I think we lost our host Lakshana, right? So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Sham. I'm like Lakshana was telling, I'm basically a solution architect and data scientist, right? So I've been dabbling with AI since the last 7 or 8 years, very enthusiastic in this field, and I try to mentor people in my free time, right? So, and this 60 minutes, we want to do a masterclass, and I believe this group who has joined here is a leadership cohort, right? So someone who is responsible for taking business driven leadership in your respective organization, right? And we would like to show how AI matters for you leaders, right? We'll kind of demystify some of the jargons like Gen AI, Agentic AI, what it means, right? How is the impact in today's world? So we'll try to do that in the next 50 odd minutes, right? And I'll give you, towards the end, I'll leave it at a point where learning this can be very fruitful, right, for you leaders, and how structured learning, which one of the flagship program of great learning, can help you accelerate that. Right. So we'll try to begin, and I would like to keep this conversational. I know there are about 15 of us on this, uh, you know, in this group who has joined. So it'll be great if you can keep this interactive, ask questions related to AI, anything, any use case that you have come across, any problem that you're trying to solve, or anything related to AI, you can ask, and I'll try to answer them. Right. So we'll start with the AI revolution, right? The historically, right, there has been a trend of technologies which has transformed our society. There was the industry revolution 1.0, where it was the mechanization, it was about water power, steam power, right? And then in the industry 2.0, it was all about the rise of electricity, right? And in the industry 3.0, we had computers, we had electronics, being able to come up with chipsets, being able to come up with PCBs, where it can integrate capacitors, right? All these, took off during the industry 3.0, and in the industry 4.0 is when the IoTs and networks, right? So we were able to network long distance, machines. We are able to, connect them using transatlantic lines. There was IoTs where we could look at, different, um, yeah. Um, yeah, there was IoTs, which was like sensors on every machine. The manufacturing was kind of using that, and then 2020 was the peak of AI. What was basically a very aspirational, like for example, self-supervised learning, reinforcement learning, right, became very much possible. Compute was in the tip of our fingers. Cloud was easily and affordable, to all of us. Data was abundance, right? Everyone went digital, and data was abundance. And then we also had a lot of cognitive systems that came up, right? And this was because of technologies like NLP, technologies like CNN, deep neural networks, right? So and what Lakshana wanted to add before I begin, and we lost her, was this session is just a beginning, right? And we are talking about AI revolution, so you get the point. So this is just a beginning. You're looking here, basically to deepen your knowledge and skills. So we encourage you to explore our PGP, AI program for leaders. It's a 5-month intensive course, right, designed specifically for business leaders who want to leverage AI for strategic decision making and transformation leadership, right? And this session, like I said, keep it interactive. No question is too big or too small, so feel free to ask questions in the Q&A or in the chat box, wherever you feel comfortable, right? So let's continue uh, while we are here. My screen kind of crashed. Just one moment, please. Yeah, I hope it's back now. So really what we were telling was, what is AI, right? So let's, get things, on the same page and try to answer what is AI, right? And AI, I'm sure all of you already know, right? It's an ability of computers or machines to perform tasks that require some level of human intelligence, right? Such as learning. So we want to look at historical data and say, come up with some prediction, right? So that some amount of learning should happen. There should be a reasoning, right? So each of us are, brain differently. So there'll be different levels of reasoning and different, yeah, baseline for reasoning as well, right? So there is problem solving, decision making, right? So all these are human intelligence. And this is what AI has been able to do. They perform just like how a human does. So AI will let us, basically machines, right? Think and learn like humans. So they recognize patterns, they make decisions, they understand speech, they understand images, and they even generate content, right? And then sometimes they even give recommendations, right? So you might have come across virtual assistants like Siri, come across chatbots. You might have heard or even experienced self-driving cars, right? You might have got movie recommendations on Netflix and even language translators, right? So all these use AI. Machine learning, deep learning, these are the important, what you can say, the gamuts, the parts of AI, and they allow the systems to improve. How do they allow them to improve is by learning from data, right? So they're not explicitly programmed. You don't have to write, hundreds of if-else loops, right? Hundreds of if-else statements. So everything is being learned by, giving them a lot of data, and based on that, they're able to learn the patterns. And these days it's found in many technologies, many industries, and it's changing how we work, right? It's changing how we learn, and it's also changing how we interact with machines, right? So we are able to chat like just how we chat with a friend, right? We are able to converse, we are able to give voice commands, we are able to just do translations very easily, right? Even if you are in a very foreign country, right? So that is what AI is about, right? Now there are different types of AI, right? So generally, I used a Venn diagram where you have the AI, and then you have, machine learning underneath that, and then there's deep learning, which is a very specialized part of machine learning, right? And then there is NLP and data science, which cuts across it, and then you have the Gen AI, right? Which is the newer form of AI, right? So you can structure it different ways, for AI, in terms of capability, in terms of functionality, right? If I talk about the capability, right? So then you can categorize them as narrow AI, which is these are specialized for specific task. Like for example, a voice assistant, a facial recognition on your camera, right? So most of the AI that you see around the world falls into this category, which is narrow AI. And then there is the general AI, right? Which is, wherein you're trying to match a human level intelligence. You're trying to, understand, match the human flexibility, right? Where we can understand, learn, apply all at the same time. Right. So that's what general AI is about. Again, it's very aspirational, but nowadays tools like ChatGPT have been able to demonstrate that. And it's no more a theoretical concept. We are seeing a lot of tools, a lot of applications, in action today. Then there is a super intelligent AI, which is a hypothetical AI today. It can surpass human intelligence. It can do creativity and decision making better than what a human does. It's like I said, it's aspirational, but I'm pretty sure it won't take too long for us to reach there. You can also categorize them by functionality, like are they reactive machines? Do they respond to current events, or do they respond to past experiences, or based on memory, right? Or based on limited memory? Can they use historical data for making present decisions, like self-driving cars? Then there is the theory of mind, which is how they understand human emotions, intentions, beliefs, right? So again, that's more the other side of the AI. So capability wise, we have three types of AI, right? And like I said, most practical AI applications today are under the narrow AI, right? Because they are either reactive or they are a limited memory kind of a functionality. So what makes AI revolutionizing, right? And why it impacts and why it's important for you leaders. So to understand this, we need to know that the decision making, right, the productivity, and how talent management is happening has been transforming, right? It has been evolving, and it's been evolving ever since. But ever since the AI, there's been a huge impact. Now, leaders they leverage AI generated data and insights for making strategic decisions, right? No more trusting someone's intuition, right? No more, it's gut feeling. It's all evidence based and data driven approaches. AI automation is freeing leaders from their routine tasks, right? They are now able to do high level strategy, high level innovation work. AI can support forecasting of market trends, forecasting of scenarios. They help uh, leaders maybe anticipate challenges, look at opportunities, right? So there's been a huge impact even on the skill development. So adopting an AI tool, of course, it requires a lot of learning, development, human AI collaboration, and all. But the benefit, right, by creating these new jobs, um, there a lot of companies are benefiting, right? So training, with AI personalization can accelerate your skill acquisition. And the role of middle and higher management, where most of the leaders come from, right? They're now acting as scouts for these emerging trends. They are the people who are looking out, what should we bring in, what makes sense for our business, for our organization, to add more business value. It's no more should we use, it's about how do you use, and who is taking the decision. It's the middle and higher management, right? So the strategic vision that you bring to the table, of how you integrate AI with the business objective, will drive the technological change, right, for your organization. Again, for hiring, you need the right talent, right? So if you want to focus, if you want to assess candidates, if you want to look at their technical expertise, you need to know, you know, uh, good amount of AI, right? So that's why AI has been impacting and it has revolutionized leadership, right? So with that, we would transition to GenAI, right, which has been a buzz for since some time now, ever since ChatGPT, OpenAI launched its ChatGPT, way back in 2023 with the 2.0 version. It has really taken off. People are using GenAI for, day-to-day tasks, right? So I'll just pause here. I see the chat window is, very silent. So any questions you may have, and also I will be curious to understand this group better. So if you can let me know what's your current role, right? And if you want to let us know where you currently work, right? So that will be great. So your current role, um, where's your workplace, right? So that will be good to understand the diversity of this group. So keep your questions coming, folks. I'll be happy to answer them. But we'll dive into GenAI, right? So GenAI is a type of AI which can create new content. And what type of content it can create? Today, it can create text, images, videos, audios, and even software code, right? And what does it take to generate this? It takes input in the form of prompts. So, and how is it able to do it? Right? It's able to do by learning patterns, by learning structures from large amounts of data, right? The huge, vast amounts of data. And because of this data, the volume in which it has been trained, we generally refer to them as large language model, right? The foundational model which powers GenAI is called large language model. So, um, what does GenAI use? It uses, like I said, foundational model, large language model. Some of the examples are OpenAI's GPT, Anthropic, Claude Anthropic, right? There's Google's Gemini, right? So all these are examples of large language model. GenAI today, they can produce variety of content types that they can, and what we call as, multimodal, right? Multimodal models. And with GenAI, we have been able to automate a lot of creative work, right? A lot of repetitive tasks, like for example, creating stories, creating articles, art, music, video, animations, many more. So it has enabled automation of a lot of creative tasks, like I said, and at the same time, you can apply that in industries like healthcare, finance, entertainment, right? Customer service. So all these are applications where GenAI has been applied. And some of the popular tools, I'm sure all of you have used this. This could be ChatGPT, mostly text generation. DALI and Midjourney has been very popular for image creation, right? And similarly, we have systems for video and audio. But at the same time, it's we are in a place, we are in an era where ethically, it's been very vulnerable. There's a lot of authenticity misuse, intellectual property misuse, other potential misuses, right? Like deep fakes, and also social impacts, right? Like job displacement has been happening, right? So Gen AI has been definitely revolutionizing how humans, how machines collaborate together, right? And we are able to create new content and solve problems, right? So it's been a transformational force across many industry. Now, what it means for you as leaders, right? So from a from a humanity perspective, right? So we all agree that Gen AI can enhance human capabilities. How? By automating creative tasks, cognitive tasks, right? So, but at the same time, it raises concerns about misinformation, about psychological impact, about how human skills are valued, right? And how there's a decreasing emphasis on how we use language, right? Because we are mostly dependent on Gen AI, and they have things like auto prompting, where even if by just few words, and you don't even have to structure them, it's able to give you the output, right? So there's going to be some change from a humanity perspective, right? At the same time, we have to democratize this, how this information and creative tools, can increase, equality, can increase uh, you know, um, uh, social inclusion, right? And even the access to the technology, right? So yes, from a humanity, that's where, you as leaders can come in and make sure that it's rightly governed, there is equality maintained, there's ethical usage, right? There's transparency, there's upholding of privacy rights, there is some oversight, right? So that's what leaders are responsible for, and you can bring that to the generic table. And then from a governance perspective, right? So there is a lot of challenge today we are facing over what is the data set that it should be trained, what are the content, if it's an AI generated content, can we use that, is that a copyright, how do we manage bias, is there fairness, right? Privacy breaches, and whatever decision making, how do we audit them, how do we trace those decisions, right? Is there explanation for that, right? So there's a pressing need for all governance and frameworks for all of this, right? And you as leaders should advocate for like a thoughtful regulation where you can balance innovation and also protect the ethical governance across organizations. So this is where, again, from a governance standpoint, US leaders are very important. Of course, bottom line of all this, shouldn't be treated that there's going to be job loss or there's going to be workforce impact, right? There is going to be some disruption, but it will be displacement, right? But as long as leadership can focus on skill development, continuous learning, strategic talent, right? So addressing workflows transition, should be, I think, should be very organic, and that will happen naturally, right? So that's where again it's very important that leaders are well versed with AI as we go forward, right? So with that, we will move to agentic AI. This has been again a lot of trending. Ever since it has been there has been a few papers and real world applications, right? So what are agentic AI? So these are autonomous software systems that use AI, and it can pursue goals. It can complete tasks on behalf of you, right? And the important aspect of agentic AI is that they have reasoning, they can do planning for you, and there's adaptability, right? So traditionally, what happened? Software had fixed rules, whereas agentic AI, they can make the decision based on experience, based on data, based on training, and they can adjust their actions, right? I'll give you a few examples. So um, like for example AI assistants like chatbots, right? So they can only interact with users and assist with tasks, and AI virtual workers can perform different job functions. They can do that independently, right? So you can think of it like a customer service agent, right? So it can basically look at an inbox, and it can wait for an email. Now let's say a mail arrives from a customer with some feedback, and it can look at the tone of the customer. It can do some sentiment analysis, one, and reply accordingly. And two, it can look at what is the action that needs to be taken, right? What is the next course of action? What are the tasks that needs to be sequenced? So it can take the decisions on behalf of you. And let's say in this email, customer is asking for a replacement of the product with a maybe a larger size, right? There's some problem with the size, and they're requesting for a larger size, right? And again, in the email, the tone is little bit of frustration, right? So now the agentic AI, one of the tasks, one agent one will look at responding and kindly acknowledging, the problem that has happened. Another agent can look at making sure the product is received or gone and collected. And third, it will look at the product. It will look at what size was delivered, and can I get what are the next possible sizes. Will that fit into the customer's need, right? And another agent will make sure that the logistics for this is all scheduled, arranged, right? And the required notifications are sent, right? And this way, and another agent can look at auditing and documenting all of this, right? So next time there is the same customer comes back, there is evidence, there is proof on what was happened, right? And another example could be like, for example, let's say I'm supposed to deliver a speech on certain topic, right? Let's say five days down the line, right? So I just build a agentic AI which can do research, right? And then I can integrate these agents, where one agent can do a research on the topic, right? Another agent can review this topic. It can do like an A/B testing. It can do simulation. It can do it can do like reviewal on your behalf, right? And give you feedback. Another agent can look at the feedback, incorporate that into the speech, and maybe a fourth agent can send out an email to the group, block the calendars, look at the room bookings and things like that, right? So basically, you're automating your routine, your mundane activities, right? Where you bring in these autonomous entities which does the job for you. And these entities are all small ML algorithms which are, which can do very specific tasks. The narrow AI we talked about, you can imagine these agents to be doing different narrow AI specific tasks. So what makes it, very powerful is these characteristics. It is autonomous, where it can operate without you intervening, right? It can make decisions. Let's say it did something and you are not happy, you can give the feedback, and the next time you ask it to do, it will look at what was the previous feedback, what was the action it took, how it can do better than the previous time. Then there is a decision making where it will apply reasoning, it will do the decision making process and choose the best course of action, right? So let's say it was not able to find a time on the calendar, right? It'll try to find an appropriate slot, and then let's say it was not able to find a room, it will notify you, right? So basically, it is doing taking the best course of action on your behalf. And then the perception, right? So it can use sensors, it can use external mechanisms to perceive the environment. It can gather data, it can continuously learn with the data, right? And the learning, right? So it can improve the performance because it's continuously learning from the past experience, it is adapting to new situations, and it's optimizing various strategies. So these are the characteristics of agentic AI, which makes it very powerful. So obviously, agentic AI, we have only scratched the surface, and at this point, it's mainly used in automating tasks, enabling real-time decision making, and adapting to any new challenges. Because because it's there are a lot of moving parts, everything is dynamic, and based on that, you need an AI model to take the decisions for you, right? So that's what it's capable of doing. So, in the automation world, AI agents have been handling a lot of repetitive and time-consuming tasks, especially the customer service side of things, right? And then, there are various human workers, who are doing this kind of job, are now able to focus on high-level strategic work, high-level creative initiatives, right? And then the scalability. Now you had a team of five which can only deliver or maybe handle 5 tickets per day or 50 tickets per day, right? How do you scale that to 5 million tickets per day, right? So it's very difficult unless you really ramp up your team. But with agentic AI, you can infinitely scale, right? It's capable of processing any amount of data because it's just data for agentic AI, right? So you can manage large scale operations and basically enhance the efficiency of your industry. We talked about real-time decision making, all these things it's able to do instantaneously, right? So, and this is very important, especially in applications like autonomous driving or let's say financial trading. You have algorithmic trading, right? And you have an agentic AI placing trades on your behalf, right? Every single second, it has to look at the macroeconomy data, it has to look at a lot of financials, it has to look at commentaries from different analysts, right, and able to take that decision on your behalf. This adaptability, we talked about how these agentic AI can learn continuously, right? So they can continuously evolve. They can improve their accuracy. Now you don't even have to. So in the field of ML, right? If your organization is using ML, you have something called ML ops, right? An important aspect of ML ops is monitoring, the post-production monitoring. Once you go live, what is the performance of the model? Is that kind of how is it trending? Is there a decay in the performance over time? Because over time, what happens is the data becomes irrelevant. The data, also starts to decay, right? So the data that the model was trained on is no more the context. And the production data no more mimics the data that the model was trained on, right? So now you need an ML ops, right? With agentic AI, what's happening is the trend we are seeing is there are agents now which can monitor the model itself, right? And it can feed back into the original model and have them continuously evolve. So we're calling this super fine tuned models, right? And agentic AI is playing a major role there. And then the personalization, AI can analyze user behavior, it can analyze your preferences, it can tailor, give you personalized experience, like recommendation systems, virtual assistants, and even targeted marketing, right? So what it means for you leaders again, right? So that's the important question to ask, right? So you see, definitely agentic AI is an advanced form of AI. It's capable of doing autonomous tasks for a specific goal, right? And like I said, it needs a minimum human supervision, right? So unlike traditional AI, which was a distinctive AI, which can only respond to inputs, fixed input, there was fixed output. But with agentic AI, you can plan, you can decide, you can adapt, and take different actions for different inputs, right? So let's take the example of a call center, right? So more than 50% of the requests, customer requests, are simple tasks like password reset or replace your lost card, right? So agentic AI can come in there. It can provide an ideal solution by taking over these repetitive tasks, right? And the way it works is, when a customer calls or interacts with the system, agentic AI observes and understands the request using NLP. It can verify the customer's identity securely using MFA. It can use contextual data check, right? It uses various strategies to verify the customer identity. And then once authenticated, agentic AI can perform the required action itself, like resetting the password or initiate a card replacement, right? And it will call the appropriate backend systems or APIs to do that. And the system, there will be another agent which will monitor the outcome, confirming that the task is success, or if there's an escalation needed, right? And human agent will be notified, let's say if there was a complication or something, right? So and at the same time, now customers, if you look at their standpoint or their perspective, they're receiving real-time updates, and um, they're able to now confirm automatically, right? And they don't have to wait for any human agent or the customer call center guy to intervene. So this is basically how it's transforming, customer service. There's fast, secure, and accurate resolution that we are seeing, right? So basically, for requests like password reset or lost card handling, agentic AI can be fully autonomous, and it can act on your behalf, right? Execute on your behalf. So all these reasons are all these benefits of what agentic AI is bringing into business, right? Now, again, you as leaders, you're definitely looking at how do we go away from anti-digital and how do we automate things, right? Now, one of the tool or one of your technique to apply automation would be agentic AI. And to do agentic AI, of course, you need to know your ML ecosystem pretty well, right? There should be a proper COE, there should be the data maturity, right? You should have data bricks, data pipelines, which your team can use to train models, very easily. And then the data science team should work very well with the let's say the data engineering, right? And then all these requires very good oversight, requires experienced business leaders who can bring direction, who can give guidance to these teams, right? So that's where you as leaders become very important, right? For being able to drive these benefits and kind of achieve these benefits, right, for your respective business. So the impact of AI, needless to say, right, it's across the industry, right? So be it quality control, be it generative design, or be it multifunction, right, like agentic AI, we have AI being applied. Be it we talk about non-technical non-technical domains like HR or finance, right, where the AI is still being used for recruiting or automation. In the finance, we have robo advisory these days, right? So where it can look at your age profile, your risk profile. It can look at what's your earning potential, what's your saving potential, and it's able to give you investment advice, right? And this investment advice can change over time, and it will be very much relevant in the context that you are in, right? And then be it logistics or procurement, right? There's the supply chain analytics where it's driven by AI, right? There is stock forecasting. You can talk about demand forecasting, especially in e-commerce, e-retail, or retail kind of industry. Then there is the healthcare, right, which is primarily the beneficiary of a lot of these AI applications, right, where it's able to do diagnosis and it's also able to give you recommendations. So all these have been the applications of AI in modern age, and I'm pretty sure a lot of such applications are in your respective organizations as well, right? So, what now with all this information, how do you take it to the next level, right? So, how do you apply this, right? So, it has been proven that anything that you want to apply, you want to learn, you want to pick up a skill, there has to be some structured learning associated with it. Right. So, there's a lot of noise when you talk about AI. There's information everywhere. There is a lot of topics which have become redundant, outdated. You need to know the latest and greatest because AI is evolving every day. There is a new library, new framework, new foundational model, right? And you need a strong conceptual foundation, like for example your math, your programming, your core ML. Now I understand all of you are from non-technical background, but still, how would you accelerate picking up the skill, right? So that's where a structured learning becomes important. You need a progressive development where you have to sequence and structure the learning approach, right? So there is theory, code, deploy, monitor. You start with the basic concepts, you apply in the projects, and you apply them in real world case studies. It should be hands on. It should be there should be mentorship, there should be feedback, there should be soft skill integration, there should be career transitions it should help you with, and there should be a very valuable certification also by the end of it, right? And that's where great learning will help you achieve that. It's a very popular tech company, as all of you might know. It's testimony to 15,000 plus career transitions, 4,000 plus hiring partners, and more than 400 million hours of learnings, right? And the partnership with a lot of major leading universities, as we see here. And then, this program itself, like I said, is a 5-month program. You start with understanding AI through data. You have a project, there's a case study, and it will last for 2 weeks, where you will start with like a boot camp, right? Where you all start about what is the business of AI, what is the AI itself, how do I do visualizations, what are the low code tools I can use, right? Because obviously we don't expect you to do programming, so there are low code tools which you can take advantage of and do some visualization and understand how the data is trending. And then you will start building AI projects. We start with supervised learning, where we look at regression, classification, how you can build POCs, and many, many case studies. And then you look at unsupervised learning, where you look at recommendation systems, how you can do clustering, dimensionality reduction, and then how you can build AI teams, right? So these are some soft skills which you have to integrate, which you have to bring in for your business problem translations, right? Then the neural networks and ensemble techniques, right? So it's another very advanced field of AI, which can be a game changer for a lot of your use cases. So there is the GenAI, where you will be focusing on, what are the errors that GenAI do, hallucinations, how you can identify GenAI business problems, what is a successful GenAI, project look like, how do you ensure data quality, how do you measure ROI for a Gen AI, right? And all these comes with experiential learning. Each of these you have capstone projects, you have a lot of mentoring sessions, which will make it easier in your learning process. And who this program is for? It's for product managers, business heads, delivery managers, basically anyone and everyone who are business leaders who are responsible for taking some decisioning within your organization, right? And you don't have to be technical, you don't have to know programming, you don't have to know about mathematics, right? So we start with very basic, very scratch, and upskill you in a very progressive way. This is the faculty who has designed the program. They are some of the greatest in this field. You can definitely look up them, and these are some of the real world case studies that you'll be looking, right? So you'll be doing EDA, which is exploratory data analysis, visualization, BFSI, right? So all these are, where and one of the use case you'll be looking at, how do we identify potential customers for marketing campaign? It's just an example, right? And there are many more that you will be working with. You'll be looking at web scraping, sentiment analysis, right? And how would you apply AI, and how would you do POC? How would you do market analysis? Right. So again, these are things that you will learn. So here's a few testimonial from our alumni. I'll just pause on the slide for you to read through this, right? And at the same time, Lakshana has shared a feedback form on the Zoom chat, right? So request all of you to use the form and fill in the details, right? So this is the best way to, if you have any questions about the program, if you want to know more about it, so this is the best way you can drop in your details, and someone from the program management team will get in touch with you, right? So of course, the best time to enroll is now. There's a lot of opportunity out there for AI, Gen AI, and we all want you to be part of it, right? And definitely, fill in the details on the Google form, and you can also take a screenshot of this. You can call us directly on this number, or there's an email which you can use as well. So that's what I had from today's session, right? I'll just pause here, see if any questions. This group has been, pretty much silent. So I hope this was useful. You found this 45 minutes, valuable, understanding what is AI, what is Gen AI, what is agentic AI, what are some of the applications of these, technologies, and what it means most importantly for you as leaders, right? What it means to adopt these, right? So hopefully you found this useful. That's what we had for today, folks. We can wrap here if you have no further questions, and definitely, take a look at the Google form and fill your details. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.